Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a soccer match where, I don't know, the script just gets completely thrown out the window.
Right.
Where the final whistle feels like it resets the clock like multiple times. And where everything, absolutely everything, happens in those chaotic final moments.
Full of mayhem.
Exactly. Goals flying in, a red card, spectacular saves that you can't believe, and a comeback that almost wasn't.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going deep into Real Madrid's absolutely thrilling 3-2 victory over Borussia Dortmund in the FIFA Club World Cup quarterfinal.
What a game.
Our mission, as always, here on the Deep Dive, is to pull out the most important nuggets, the key knowledge and insight from the sources we've gathered. We've got a really detailed match report, narrative, stats, the works.
Yeah, it's comprehensive stuff.
And we want to understand the why and the how behind this epic match, and crucially, what it all means for these teams moving forward. And what really stands out here, I think, is how one single game, 90-plus minutes, can perfectly capture the beauty and, the brutal unpredictability of soccer.
Absolutely.
This wasn't just a standard win for Real Madrid. It felt like a masterclass in resilience, didn't it? A massive test of nerves for everyone involved.
For sure.
And a showcase of just raw individual brilliance when it mattered most. So yeah, we're going to meticulously pull apart every key moment, every significant stat, even look at some of the tactics underneath it all from our sources.
Sounds good.
So get ready, because we're about to really get into what transpired on that field. It was electric.
Totally electric. And to really set the stage for that kind of drama, we need the basics, but also the human elements, right? Because they were definitely at play even before kickoff. So the date, July 5, 2025. The place, MetLife Stadium, New Jersey, USA. Kickoff was 4 p.m. local time. That's UTC 20.000 for everyone else.
Right.
And the scale of this thing, huge. An impressive 76,611 spectators packed in there. The atmosphere must have been, deafening.
Incredible crowd.
You could almost feel it through the broadcast, But it wasn't just the crowd. The conditions were tough, too. High temperature, 30 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, that's challenging.
Imagine playing 90 minutes, plus all that stoppage time, in that kind of heat. It really tests your endurance, your mental focus.
Definitely takes a toll.
And beyond the physical side, there was also this deeply solemn moment before the match. A minute of silence.
Oh, yes, for Diogo Jota.
For Diogo Jota, the Liverpool player, and his brother. They tragically died in a car accident just 2 days before, July 3rd.
So sad.
And you could really feel that emotional weight. It was especially visible, our sources note, on Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, his former teammate at Real Madrid.
Exactly. He was clearly affected.
Yeah.
That kind of tragedy, so close to such a massive game, it just adds this somber, complex layer before a ball is even kicked.
It absolutely does. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this match wasn't just another quarterfinal. It felt like a continuation of a rivalry, steeped in recent history.
The Champions League final rematch.
Precisely. The 2024 final where Real Madrid won 2-0. So high stakes already. And you add the tough conditions, the heat. It pushes athletes to their absolute limits.
For sure.
And then you have the coaches. Xabi Alonso for Real Madrid, Niko Kovac for Dortmund. Two very respected figures.
Big names.
Big names, yeah. And looking at the head-to-head record before this game, Real Madrid definitely had the historical edge. 6 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses against Dortmund.
Okay.
Plus, they were on a 6-match unbeaten streak against them. So psychologically, you'd think Madrid had an advantage there. And we should also mention the referee, the Brazilian official Ramon Abate. That detail, it becomes pretty significant later on with some, let's say, contentious decisions near the end.
Ah, okay. Foreshadowing.
A bit, yeah. And that emotional backdrop for Alexander-Arnold, as you mentioned, just adds another deeply human layer. It's a reminder these aren't just robots out there. They're people with lives, emotions.
Absolutely. A powerful point. So, speaking of the people on the field, let's pivot to the tactics. The setups, the opening strategies, maybe even what you call the coach's gambles.
Yeah, those pregame decisions.
Because they often set the whole tone, don't they? So, Real Madrid first. They lined up in that familiar 4-2-3-1. Seems to work for them.
It's Alonso's go-to, yeah. Flexible.
Key starters. Courtois in goal, obviously. Then Alexander-Arnold, Rüdiger, Huijsen, and Fran Garcia across the back.
Solid defense.
Midfield, you had Chouameni and the captain Valverde holding things down. Then Arda Guler playing more advanced. in that creative role.
The number 10 spot, effectively.
Right. And up front, the attacking trio, Bellingham, Vinicius, and Gonzalo Garcia.
And that's the interesting part.
That's the gamble, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. Dortmund, on the other hand, went with a 3-5-2. A bit more compact, maybe.
Potentially, yeah. 3 center backs packs the midfield.
Kovel in goal. Back 3 of Sule Anton Bensabani. Then that 5-man midfield. Ryerson, Gross, Sabitzer, Nemecha, Svensson. Looks like they wanted to control the middle.
Or use the wingbacks aggressively, Ryerson and Svensson providing width.
Gotcha. Add up top for Dortmund. Adeyemi and Guirassy.
A dynamic pair.
But let's get back to that Real Madrid call. Xabi Alonso starting Gonzalo Garcia over Mbappe. Mbappe was apparently recovering from gastroenteritis.
Right, that was the report.
Still, starting the youngster over arguably the world's best player.
Mm.
That's a massive decision. Raised a few eyebrows, I bet.
Oh, definitely.
So what does this all mean? How did these setups, and especially Alonso's big call, play out in those opening minutes?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? That choice by Alonso, starting Gonzalo Garcia, especially with Mbappe technically available, even if not fully fit, it speaks volumes, I think.
About his trust in the kid.
Exactly. Trust in the squad depth, trust in Garcia's form right now. He was clearly confident. It really highlights this idea in modern soccer management. You know, trusting your informed players, even the younger ones, can pay off big time.
Rather than just relying on the superstar name.
Right, especially in a long tournament like this. And it makes you wonder, how often do these calls, the ones that seem maybe a bit risky or surprising beforehand, end up being the absolute key moments?
Yeah.
In this case, it certainly was. And the formation contrast is telling, too. Real Madrid's 4-2-3-1 is built for attacking fluidity, controlling the ball, using those creative players like Guler.
Push forward.
Yeah, push forward. Dortmund's 3-5-2, though, it often aims to clog the midfield, make it hard for the opposition's creators, and then hit quickly on the counter, maybe using those wing backs.
So maybe Dortmund wanted to stifle Madrid's creativity.
That would be the logical approach, yeah. Try to win that midfield battle. But ultimately, Alonso's decision, his gamble on Garcia, it wasn't just about managing Mbappe. It felt like a strategic statement.
And it paid off fast.
Almost immediately. Set a really aggressive tone right from the start.
And explosive is the word. Madrid just seemed to be cruising early on, didn't they?
Looked completely in control.
2 quick goals, dictating everything. Dortmund couldn't really get into it. Let's recount that first goal, because it really set things up. Just 10 minutes in.
Barely started.
Gonzalo Garcia, the guy Alonso backed, gets this absolutely perfect through ball from Arda Guler.
What a pass that was.
Guler just sliced the defense open.
Yeah.
Vision. And Garcia.
Yeah.
So calm.
Yeah.
Just slots it home. 1-0.
Clinical finish.
And that was already his 5th goal of the Club World Cup. Tied for top scorer.
Yeah.
Incredible for a player starting ahead of Mbappe.
Justifying the selection instantly.
Madrid's confidence just soared. Then, 10 minutes later, 20th minute, Fran Garcia gets involved. Cuts in from the left wing, great move, beats his man, fires it past Kovel. 2-0.
Looked comfortable then.
Yeah, at that moment, it honestly felt like game over. Madrid totally dominating, heading for a pretty straightforward win. The crowd was loving it.
Oh, absolutely. And that early dominance, it was a direct result of Alonso's tactics working perfectly, combined with that individual brilliance, Guler pulling the strings, Gonzalo Garcia finishing.
Clicking on all cylinders.
Exactly. But, you know, if we look at the bigger picture, a 2-0 lead that early, especially in that heat, sometimes it can lead to a team, maybe subconsciously, just relaxing a bit.
Taking the foot off the gas.
Maybe a slight drop in intensity, maybe trying to conserve energy. It can subtly shift things. And that seemed to happen a bit in the second half.
Things slow down.
Yeah, both teams visibly slowed down. The pace dropped. It became more subdued for a while, like the calm before the storm, as it turned out.
Right.
So the question is, was that slowdown tactical from Alonso, maybe save energy for later rounds, or just the heat and the comfort of the lead catching up?
Probably a bit of both.
Likely, yeah. But then, crucially, 67th minute, Alonso makes that change. Mbappe comes on for Bellingham.
Bringing on the big gun.
Exactly. Even though the immediate impact wasn't obvious, it was a clear sign. Re-injecting pace, that world-class threat. A signal that Alonso knew it wasn't quite done yet.
And boy, was he right. Because here's where it gets really interesting.
The final minutes.
Yeah, this is where the deep dive just shows the sheer unpredictability, the magic, maybe the madness of soccer. Pure mayhem in stoppage time. Extended stoppage time, too.
It felt endless.
Dortmund, who looked almost dead and buried, suddenly find a lifeline. 90 plus 2 minutes. Substitute Bino getting scores.
Out of nowhere, almost.
A quick move, maybe a lapse from Madrid, and bang, 2-1. The stadium just erupted again. The Dortmund fans went wild. You could feel the shift.
Tension just shot up.
Totally. But then, just 2 minutes later, 90 plus 4. Mbappe, the substitute, delivers pure genius.
Oh, the bicycle kick.
The bicycle kick. Gets past in the box and just launches himself. Spectacular, unbelievable technique.
Jaw-dropping goal.
It rockets into the net. 3-1. Everyone was just stunned. Fans, commentators, us watching. It was audacious. Seemed like that had finally killed off Dortmund's hopes.
You'd think so. That sequence, Dortmund gets hope, then Mbappe snatches it away with an incredible piece of skill. It's why we watch, isn't it? Individual genius under that kind of pressure. But, like you said, the drama was far, far from over. Another twist. 90 plus 8 minutes. Red card.
Huijsen, the young defender.
Yeah, direct red. Last man fell. Brought down a Dortmund attacker who was clean through on goal, denied an obvious goal-scoring opportunity.
Controversial, maybe, given the time?
Well, controversial for fans in a heat of the moment, maybe, but the rules are pretty clear on that one. Last man, denying a clear chance. It's a red card. A body, the ref, had to give it.
Right. And that means penalty.
Penalty to Dortmund. Guirassy steps up. The pressure on him must have been immense.
Unbelievable pressure.
But he showed incredible composure, sent Courtois the wrong way, slotted it home. 3-2.
Oh, my word.
The tension in MetLife was just unbearable at this point. Pure anxiety and anticipation.
Well, it still wasn't over.
Not yet. 90 plus 10 minutes. Literally seconds left. Sabitzer for Dortmund unleashes this powerful shot from outside the box.
Looked destined for the net.
It really did. For a split second, you thought equalizer, extra time. It would have been devastating for Madrid. But Courtois, again, produces this heroic save. Point blank, diving low, pushes it wide, secures the win.
Wow.
That save right then. It wasn't just a good save, it was the save. The definitive act. Pure goalkeeping heroics that sealed it. World-class stuff.
Truly incredible.
Yeah.
And to really understand how that all happened across the whole game, we need to dig into the numbers, right? Let's get into the stats.
Yeah, the data tells a story, too.
And it's interesting, there were some slight differences depending on the source, which is always good to keep in mind for a full picture.
Definitely. Stats aren't always uniform.
Okay, possession and passing. One source gives Madrid 57%, Dortmund 43%. But our main source actually has it tighter. Madrid 48.4%, Dortmund slightly more at 51.6%.
So pretty even possession battle, really.
Seems like it, but successful passes.
Yeah.
Madrid completed more, 503 to Dortmund's 345. Suggests Madrid were maybe a bit more intricate in their build-up.
Or just held onto the ball more in certain phases, yeah.
And passes in the final third again. Close, but Madrid slightly ahead, 80 to 77. Shows they were consistently trying to get forward.
Constant attacking intent.
No shooting. Total shots. Madrid 15, Dortmund 12. Shots on target. Madrid 8, Dortmund 5.
So Madrid more accurate overall.
But interestingly, shots inside the box.
Yeah.
Dortmund had more, 9 to Madrid's 8.
Okay, so Dortmund were getting into dangerous areas.
Seems that way. And here's the really fascinating bit, the stat that maybe doesn't match the scoreline. Expected goals, XG.
Ah, the quality of chances.
Right. Real Madrid's XG, 1.15. Dortmund's XG, 1.86. Significantly higher for Dortmund.
Wow, okay. That is interesting. It paints a different picture, doesn't it?
It really does.
Because while Madrid scored 3 and had more shots on target, Dortmund's higher XG suggests they actually created, objectively speaking, better quality chances throughout the game.
So they were maybe getting closer to goal or setting up easier shots.
Probably, yeah. Higher probability chances. Think clear headers, cutbacks into good spots, things like that. It really makes you ask, how much was this result down to Madrid's clinical finishing? I mean, Mbappe's bicycle kick has a tiny XG, right?
Right, it's spectacular, not high probability.
Exactly. So how much was it clinical finishing versus Dortmund maybe missing some of those better opportunities? Or, Courtois just being incredible?
It highlights Madrid's efficiency, maybe, and Dortmund's frustration.
Precisely. Now let's look at the defensive side, the duels, fouls. Numbers vary a bit. Madrid 8-10, Dortmund 6-12. But tackles? Dortmund had more successful tackles, 14 to Madrid's 9.
Showing their aggressive approach.
Yeah.
Trying to win it back.
Definitely suggests that. Disrupting Madrid's rhythm. Interceptions were also slightly higher for Dortmund, 6-4. Although Tchouaméni had 4 interceptions himself for Madrid. Game high.
The midfield shield doing his job.
Absolutely vital role. Ground duels won. Very close. Madrid 36, Dortmund 33. Pretty even battle on the floor.
Okay.
But aerial duels, Madrid clearly dominated, 15-1 to Dortmund's 11.
Interesting. Maybe against Dortmund's back three or set pieces.
You could be both, an advantage in physical contests up high. And finally, set pieces and discipline, corners. Main source says 3 each, but alternate data says Madrid 8, Dortmund 9. So maybe a difference in how corners were forced or counted?
Okay. Offsides. Madrid 0, very disciplined attacking runs. Dortmund had 1. Yellow cards, Madrid 1, Dortmund 2. And of course, a huge red card for Huijsen at 90+6.
Changed everything at the end.
Totally. So this data gives us great context. Dortmund worked hard defensively, tackled well, but Madrid had that aerial edge. And crucially, despite Dortmund's higher XG, Madrid had the clinical finishing and the goalkeeping heroics.
It really shows analytics are insightful, but moments of brilliance decide games.
Exactly. The human element, the execution under pressure, still paramount.
And speaking of that human element, let's really shine a light on the individuals now. The top performers, especially for Madrid, who made the difference.
Yeah, some standout displays.
First, gotta be Courtois. Highest rated player, 9 out of 10. That 99th minute save wasn't just vital, it was defiant. Game-winning.
Absolutely. Defining moment.
But he made 3 saves total. Rock solid all game. Then, Fran Garcia, man of the match.
Deservedly so. His resurgence under Alonso is something else. Scored that great second goal, cutting in, defensively solid too, and the staff back it up. 112 touches constantly involved, 17 forward passes contributing offensively from left back.
Impressive numbers. He's really flourishing.
Then Arda Guler. 8 out of 10. The creative spark. 2 assists described as artistic passes. Just carves defenses open.
He's got that vision.
And his XT, expected threat, was 2.101, game high. That basically measures how much his actions increased Madrid's chance of scoring. Shows his creativity.
Yeah, XT is a great metric for creativity. He was unlocking things.
And Gonzalo Garcia, also 8 out of 10. Praised for elite movement and clinical finishing. That opening goal set the tone, validated Alonso's call.
Huge moment for the young player.
He said afterwards, it's like a dream you can imagine. And the media is already comparing him to Raul.
Wow, that's high praise. Big expectations now.
For sure. And finally, Chamermi, another 8 out of 10. The midfield shield. Led the game with 4 interceptions, just broke up Dortmund's attacks constantly. Crucial defensive cover.
He was immense, anchored that midfield.
These guys weren't just good. They were absolutely decisive.
They really were. And it's fascinating how players step up in those pressure moments. Courtois' save. It's not just reaction, it's experience, positioning, decision-making under insane pressure. Shows why he's world-class. And Fran Garcia finding his feet like this, it's great coaching from Alonso, but also shows the player's adaptability, his willingness to learn and grow in that system.
Definitely. But we should also acknowledge Dortmund's key players, right?
Yeah.
They pushed Madrid all the way.
Absolutely. Guirassy scoring that penalty, immense composure needed there. Could have easily crumbled.
Right.
Bino Gittins coming off the bench, getting that goal. Huge impact, nearly changed the game entirely.
Gave that hope.
Exactly. And Ben Sebaini, 112 touches, 17 forward passes. Shows how involved he was in their build-up, likely down that wing.
He was a key outlet for them.
Yeah. And it raises that question again. How do these performances, especially under pressure, shape the narrative? How do they affect player futures? Gonzalo Garcia's rise, it connects directly to Real Madrid's strategy, doesn't it?
Their ability to find and trust young talent.
Exactly. Identify, develop, integrate. Even when you have Mbappe waiting in the wings, it shows incredible depth and planning.
It really does speak volumes about their setup. Now let's hear from the coaches themselves. Those immediate post-match reactions. They're always revealing, aren't they?
Often very insightful, yeah. Raw emotion sometimes.
What do they say after all that chaos?
Yeah.
Xabi Alonso. Surprisingly candid, actually. Quite humble.
Oh, yeah.
He said, quote, "We were very lucky to have Courtois." Acknowledged the luck factor. He also said, "The game was under our control for 80 minutes, but the last 10 minutes of madness made us lose focus."
Wow, that's honest. Admitting they lost focus.
Yeah, pretty introspective for a winning coach. And he specifically praised Tchouaméni again. Today's system was defined by Tchouaméni. We let him analyze what was needed and decide where he should be.
That's fascinating. Shows that trust in player intelligence on the pitch. Very modern coaching.
Empowering his players. Now, Niko Kovac, the Dortmund coach, he had a different immediate reaction, a complaint.
Oh.
The pitch. He said pretty bluntly, "This pitch is more suitable for golf than for soccer."
Ah. Okay. Playing the pitch card.
implying it hindered his team significantly.
Well, that contrast is really interesting, isn't it? Alonso's humility, acknowledging luck, praising his players' intelligence. It suggests that player-centric adaptive coaching style builds trust.
Right.
Kovac's comment about the pitch, it makes you wonder. Was it a genuinely massive factor hindering them? Or maybe partly a way to deflect from other issues, tactical things, or maybe mischances?
Could be a bit of both, I suppose. Pitch condition can affect play.
It absolutely can. Affects passing, movement, but blaming a loss solely on the pitch. It often overlooks other areas, like Dortmund created those high XG chances despite the pitch, right? But didn't finish them.
Good point. Finishing or Courtois saves might be more relevant there.
Exactly. So it helps us understand how coaches frame things after a game. What's genuine insight, what's maybe managing the narrative.
Definitely. And as soon as that whistle went, the media and fans just exploded, right? Let's talk about that buzz and what this means going forward.
Yeah, the fallout was immediate.
Huge media attention.
Yeah.
ESPN instantly grabbing onto Mbappe's spectacular bicycle kick. Gold tournament contender, obviously.
Highlight reel gold.
Sky Sports focus more on Courtois' 99th minute divine save. The match winner.
Two defining moments, really.
And the Spanish media, Marca, AS, praising Real Madrid's resilience under pressure, their ability to just find a way to win.
The narrative of Madrid's winning mentality.
Social media just went nuts. Mbappe's goal. Viral instantly, millions of views.
Yeah.
But Courtois' save also trended massively. Shows appreciation for that kind of goalkeeping heroism.
Yeah. Fans love those moments, both ends of the pitch.
There was debate online about Huijsen's red card too. Some thought it was harsh, maybe so late. But the general consensus among analysts seemed to be it was the correct call by the letter of the law.
Yeah. Last man foul, denying a clear opportunity. It's a tough rule sometimes, but it's the rule.
Even if it felt brutal at the time.
And it's fascinating how quickly those moments, Mbappe's goal, Courtois' save, just become iconic, defining images of the match. They cement narratives.
Shapes how we remember the game.
Totally. And it makes you think, how does that instant virality affect player perception, future expectations, maybe even the players themselves?
Interesting question. Now, bigger picture ramifications. Historically, this win extends Real Madrid's club World Cup unbeaten streak to 20 matches.
Incredible record. 17 wins, 3 draws. Just dominance in this competition.
And the immediate result, they're through to the semifinals on July 9th against Paris Saint-Germain.
Oh, wow. PSG.
Mbappe versus Old Club. So soon after the transfer.
That is box office. The narrative writes itself. Huge anticipation for that one.
Got to be one of the biggest games of the tournament now. But tactically, Huijsen's red card means he's suspended for that semifinal.
Right. That's a blow. Alonso will have to shuffle his defense. A real test against PSG's attack.
Forces a change. And we have to circle back to Gonzalo Garcia. His star is rising fast. 5 goals now, top scorer in the tournament.
Yeah.
Contributed in every game. 4 goals, 1 assist.
Those role comparisons are starting to look less like hype and more like reality. He's becoming crucial.
Seems like a key part of their future. So, connecting it all, this win isn't just about advancing. It's about momentum, showing squad depth under pressure, handling everything this tournament throws at you.
Absolutely. And that PSG match now, with the Mbappe storyline plus Huijsen being out, it's a massive tactical challenge for Alonso. Really tests the whole squad.
So, wrapping this up, what does it all mean? Why do we watch this sport? This deep dive into Madrid 3, Dortmund 2. It kind of perfectly showed why we love soccer, didn't it?
Had absolutely everything.
Tactical battles, incredible individual skill, drama, twists, late heroics. Just unbelievable stuff.
Edge of your seat the whole time.
And you have to give credit to Dortmund, too. They were defeated, but that late surge, scoring 2 goals in stoppage time, showed amazing spirit, amazing fight, never gave up.
Admirable resilience from them, too.
Just proves, doesn't it? In soccer, nothing is ever over until that final whistle finally goes. It's just gloriously unpredictable.
It really is. And this match, specifically, felt like a perfect snapshot of modern top-level soccer. Huge stakes, unbelievable talent everywhere, and just moments that defy all expectation, all analytics.
Right.
It makes you wonder, in this age where we try to analyze everything, predict everything, is it exactly these chaotic, unpredictable human moments that keep the sport so compelling, that give it its real soul?
I think it might be. Those are the moments you remember forever.
Exactly. And as Madrid move on to face PSG in this big, expanded Club World Cup, every game is just another story waiting to happen. This quarterfinal, though, definitely going down as a classic.
No doubt.
So, for everyone listening, as you reflect on this wild game, What stood out most to you? What specific moment? And what does a match like this tell us about competition, about resilience, maybe even about how we handle the unexpected turns in life?
Deep thoughts to end on.
Something to mull over, perhaps, until our next deep dive.